Hey guys, welcome back to the show. Today we'll take a detailed look inside the most awarded female artist of all time. She sold over 200 million records worldwide and was an international superstar. Today's topic is, what happened to Whitney Houston? But before we get into the video, click on that like button and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Whitney Elizabeth Houston was born on August 9, 1963, in New Jersey. Her mother was a gospel singer, and one of her brothers was a singer as well. She grew up in the church, and at 11 years old, she started singing solo in the junior gospel choir. Her mother, Sissy, always gave her singing lessons, and sometimes she went along with her mom while she was on tour with her group, The Sweet Inspirations. At 14 years old, Whitney became a backup singer on the Michael Zager Band's single, Life's a Party. At 15 years old, she sang backup for Chaka Khan and Lou Rawls. She met her best friend, Robin Crawford, in high school, and as Whitney started her rise to stardom, she also became her executive assistant. It was rumored that the two were lovers, and also in 2019, Robin confirmed after her death that she had a sexual relationship early in the relationship with Whitney. But anyways, Whitney began her modeling career in 1980 after she was discovered by a photographer while she was singing with her mother. She was the first black woman to ever be on the cover of 17 magazine, and she also did spreads in Glamour, Cosmopolitan, and Young Miss. In 1982, Whitney signed with Terra Productions and she began recording again. She appeared as a lead vocalist on a single for Paul Jabara and his album released in 1983 by Columbia Records. Later on in 1983, Jerry Griffith, who was the A&R rep for Arista Records, convinced Clive Davis to sign Whitney to a worldwide recording contract. She made her national TV debut on The Merv Griffin Show and performed Home, which was a song from the musical The Wiz. Before recording her debut album, she collabed with Teddy Pendergrass on single Hold Me from his first album, Love Language, and it was a top 5 R&B hit in 1984. So her debut album, Whitney Houston, was released in February 1985. She had high standards for her first album release, as the Rolling Stone magazine called her one of the most exciting new voices in years. Saving All My Love for You became her first #1 hit single, and How Will I Know became another #1 single, and she made a music video to the single as well. She became the first African American woman to have singles played on MTV consistently. About a year later, in 1986, her debut album topped the Billboard 200 and stayed on the charts for 14 consecutive weeks. The single, Greatest Love of All, became her biggest hit single and stayed on the Hot 100 for 3 weeks. She also broke the record for being the first woman to yield 3 #1 hits with her debut album. She became the #1 artist of the year, plus released the #1 album of the year as well by the end of 1986. The album went 13 times platinum and sold 22 million copies worldwide. At the 1986 Grammy Awards, she was nominated for 3 awards and won Best Pop Vocal Performance, Female, for Saving All My Love for You. She also won an Emmy Award, 7 American Music Awards, and an MTV Video Music Award. Her successful breakthrough as an African American woman artist opened up the door for other black female artists to be successful as well. In 1987, Whitney's second album, Whitney, was released. She became the first woman in history to debut the Billboard chart at #1 and also have top 10 hits in multiple countries. Her first single off the album, I Wanna Dance with Somebody, peaked at #1 and was an international hit. Some other successful singles off the album were Where Do Broken Hearts Go, So Emotional, and Didn't We Almost Have It All. The album went 9 times platinum in the US and sold 20 million copies worldwide. In 1988, Whitney won her second Grammy Award for Best Female Pop Vocal Performance for I Wanna Dance with Somebody. She also won some more American Music Awards and a Soul Train Award. She went on tour and it became one of the 10 highest grossing concert tours of 1987. Whitney was facing so much stardom and success that she was named #8 for the highest earning entertainers in Forbes magazine, and she was also the highest earning African American woman in the US. While Whitney was on tour in Europe, she performed in London for Nelson Mandela's 70th birthday celebration, which raised money for charity. The same year, she recorded a song for the 1988 Summer Olympics, One Moment in Time, which appeared on NBC's coverage of the event. With many black critics calling her a sellout, she changed the direction of her third album, I'm Your Baby Tonight. It was released in November 1990, and on the album, she collaborated with Babyface, Stevie Wonder, Luther Vandross, and L.A. Reid. She showed her versatility with a more urban approach, and Rolling Stone labeled the album as the best integrated album. The album went 4 times platinum and sold 10 million copies worldwide. So in 1991, she performed the national anthem at the Super Bowl. Whitney continued to perform and use her earnings to donate to charities of good cause, and she even released a single following the September 11th terrorist attack. So, let's get a little bit into Whitney Houston's romantic relationships. The most well-known relationship was with singer and producer Bobby Brown. They met in the 1989 Soul Train Music Awards and were married 3 years later. They both dealt with substance abuse, and this led to some physical altercations. And although many people claim Whitney had no issues before Bobby came into the picture, it is now proven otherwise. Whitney's brothers first introduced her to drugs and alcohol, and she struggled with it way before the two met. And let's go back and talk about her so-called relationship with her executive assistant, Robin. They were intimately involved, but Whitney's mother didn't approve of the relationship. It's also believed that if she did stay with Robin, then she would have probably still been alive today. Bobby and Whitney were not good for each other apparently, and neither one of them could ever stay sober. So moving on to Whitney the actress, she became more sought after for films after her successful 3 albums made her a star. Her first film role was in The Bodyguard. It was released in 1992 and it received mixed reviews, but despite the negative feedback, it was very successful in the box office and grossed more than $410 million worldwide. So she co-produced the movie's soundtrack, and I Will Always Love You became her signature song. It peaked at #1 on the charts, went 4 times platinum, and spent a record-breaking 14 weeks on the charts. So in 1994, Whitney won a Grammy Award for the Album of the Year for the soundtrack for The Bodyguard, plus many more awards. In 1995, she made it back into film, starring in another one, Waiting to Excel. It performed well in the box office and grossed $81 million worldwide. Moving on to 1996, she starred in The Preacher's Wife and played a gospel-singing wife of the pastor. After this performance, she became the highest-earning African-American actress in Hollywood. She helped with the movie soundtrack, and it sold 6 million copies worldwide with hit singles I Believe in You and Me and Step by Step. It became the biggest-selling gospel album in music history. So in 1997, Whitney starred in a remake of Cinderella as the fairy godmother, along with Brandy and Whoopi Goldberg and some others. The movie earned an Emmy nomination, and over 60 million viewers turned in to watch the ABC special. It had the highest TV rating on ABC in 16 years. So after 8 years, she went back to recording for herself, and the album, My Love Is Your Love, was released in 1998. It was a bit different from her previous work and had more of a hip-hop urban vibe to it this time. The album sold 11 million copies worldwide and went 4 times platinum. Some hit singles from the album include When You Believe featuring Mariah Carey and Heartbreak Hotel featuring Faith Evans and Kelly Price. In 1999, Whitney was named the top-selling R&B female artist of the century with 51 million copies sold in the US. Towards the end of the 1990s and early 2000s is when Whitney's struggle with substance abuse started to come into the public light. She was always late to different events and had to cancel some as well. In 2000, her executive assistant, Robin, resigned because Whitney wouldn't get the proper help she needed. That didn't stop her from getting her money though, because in 2001, she signed one of the biggest record deals in music history with Arista Records, $100 million for 6 albums plus royalties. In 2002, she released her 5th album, Just Whitney, and she decided to work with her husband at the time, Bobby Brown, and not Clive Davis for the first time ever. The album showed success and sold 2 million worldwide. In 2003, she also released a Christmas album, and it went gold, doing well on the charts. In 2006, the troubled couple finally got a divorce, and it was finalized in 2007. So fast forwarding a few more years, she had an interview with Oprah and admitted that her and Bobby Brown used drugs and it only became worse over time. She even used drugs while pregnant with her daughter. In 2009, she released her next album, I Look to You, and Million Dollar Bill was a popular single from the album. She went on tour again after the album in 2010, and in 2011, she enrolled herself into a rehab center for substance abuse. And after her rehab, she starred in the remake of the 1976 film Sparkle. Sadly, on February 11, 2012, Whitney was found dead at the Beverly Hilton Hotel. It was a mysterious death, but there were drugs found in her system at the time of death, which may have caused her to drown. Her death was ruled as an accident. It was definitely a tragic death that rocked the world and that no one saw coming. And this concludes today's video as we looked inside Whitney Houston's life and her career. She will always be a music icon who broke barriers for both African Americans and women in the music industry. Thank you for tuning in to watch today's video, and if you enjoyed it, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you next time.
This show is brought to you by Jam Time Machine Radio, the finest of old school black and pop music. Check out www.jamtimemachine.com and listen to non-stop old school black and pop music. Jam Time Machine Radio, more than just music.